Hi, I'm Courtney with Canadale Nurseries, and I'm going to show you how to make this take-home kit holiday urn. Step one, you're going to take your urn, which we've already pre-filled for you with dirt and Oasis foam, and we're going to be inserting our birch poles into the foam. The foam is going to help keep it nice and secure, and one of the first things you want to do is just mark out with your finger, just put a little indent into the foam where you're going to place those birch poles. So a nice little triangle. And again, finding the smallest end of our birch pole, we are going to stick the first post in nice and firmly. So the small end. And if you want to do a little bit of angling, just to create some dimension to your planter, that's awesome. All right, so once you've got your birch poles set in, we are going to move on to the next step. So starting with your first set of greenery, we're going to be working with the Princess Pine. You're going to open up your bundle, and the first thing you want to do is find a nice tall piece that will become your centerpiece. Now I found this one here, and we just want to make sure we have a clean stalk to work with, so you're going to trim off some of these end pieces if you want to create a fresh edge on the base of your greenery. That works too. And we are just going to take this piece and we're going to stick it right in the center. Once we've got this initial piece in, we're going to work with one of our other greenery, and we will come back to the Princess Pine, but this just helps set the standard for the height of our planter. Okay, now working with the second set of greenery, we are grabbing our cedar, and we are going to open up our bundle, and we're just going to look for some nice long droopy pieces so that we can create the width that we want for our holiday urn. So again, you want your trimmers, and you'll just be cutting off some pieces. Make sure you have a good 3 to 4 inches. And then we're just going to work our way around the urn, inserting them into the foam, and again, creating that width. If you're unable to trim, just make sure that you're ripping off these pieces. Again, you want to create a nice, clean edge to go into the Oasis foam. All right, so I've stuck in the first couple of pieces of cedar, and as you can see, I've created a nice perimeter. Don't worry about fullness right now, because as we continue to add more things, we will be filling in all of these holes and creating that fullness. So I'm going to continue adding in some more cedar, and then I will move on to our next green. So I've used up most of my cedar now. I've created a good base for our holiday urn. I'm going to continue to fill with some of our other greens. I have a couple pieces left over that I can still use for filling in some holes later on, or I can use them for another craft. All right, so back to using our Princess Pine. We're now going to add in some more pieces to create more fullness. Again, make sure you're just cleaning off your edges. You might want to be using gloves. It helps with all the sap. So I've used up all of my princess pine, and you can see I've created some really good volume and dimension to the pot. There's not too many holes. You can always move things around if need be, just so that we can see our birch poles nicely. We're going to be adding in our decorative picks in a little bit, but right now, really happy with the way that our holiday urn's turning out. Now, taking our Frasier fir, this is really great. Again, it adds some different texture, some different color, and we're going to use this just to really fill it out. All right, so I've taken the last of my Frasier fir, and like I said, I've just filled in some of those holes, added some more of the texture and dimension to the planter, and now we're gonna work with some of our decorative picks. And we also have some accent greenery that we've provided in your kit as well, and it's just gonna really make everything pop. Okay, so now I have all of my accent pieces, and we are gonna slowly start adding them in. First, I'm going to take the pine cone. They do have a long stem on them, so you can trim this down. Just make sure that when you're trimming it down, you're not taking too much off. You can always take more off. You can't take less off. Next, we're going to take your berry spray, and you're going to want to cut this into 3 pieces. Best to use a pair of pliers. If you don't have pliers, you can always wiggle the stem back and forth, and that will also break off the wire. So as you can see, I've got some berries in here. I've done some berries on the side and some berries on the other side. Now, taking your accent greenery, we are just going to add in a little bit more pop and color. So you can see I've just done it in the corner here, just kind of accenting and helping the pine cone pop. Next, I'm taking my incense pine, and I'm just going to cut a couple branches off, and again, we're just going to accent them within the holiday urn. These guys are great because they're just a little bit lighter in tone, and the ends of these makes it kind of look like there's some berries. Perfect, so I've just added a couple pieces in and around. There's a piece here, piece down there as well. And last, we're gonna add in this nice piece of silver fir. It's really great because it just adds a contrast in color. And there you have it. We have made our holiday urn. Great job.